The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff and management of WWDB-TV.
Y'all ready for this?
Booyah! We are back. It is Wednesday. That means it is 6 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, March 21st. And always, as usual, around this time of the day, another installment of Southern Nevada Sports News coming to you from WWDBTV.com. My name is Bill Miller, co-host along with
Jeff Belknap.
And with us on the line, the prognosticator himself from Cleveland, Ohio, Jorge Misch. Hello, George.
I thought you're on standard time, not daylight time.
Yeah, we are actually on Pacific Daylight Time.
Okay, so
really? Wow.
Can you explain that to me? I know that, I just want the Cliff Notes version of that.
What?
I don't know the difference between standard and daylight.
Well, it's an hour spring forward, fall back.
Oh, okay.
This time of year, we spring forward 1 hour, daylight savings time. And late fall, just before winter, we fall back.
Oh, that's right, because we're going into spring. You're right.
Okay,
I apologize. That's twice today if I've screwed you up with the Pac-10 conference.
Yes.
So they ended that, though, in Nevada, right?
No.
Starting next year?
I hadn't heard that.
Yeah. I think it's already passed the House. They're just waiting for it to actually go into effect.
Why?
Why did I mention this?
That's all. Hey, slow down over there. I got a conversation.
I have no idea why Nevada would feel... Well, anyway.
We like more sunlight.
Arizona has part of that,
well, that's
too.
it's just the opposite. We get less.
Is that what it is? I have no idea.
Yeah,
I'm lost.
the days are longer this time of year, and that's why traditionally daylight savings time has always started around this time. In fact, there's a couple of states, but I digress. Anyway.
I know you're the logistics guy. That's why I asked you that question.
Yeah, listen, time is a major factor in my job. It's I wake up in the morning thinking about cutoffs, deadlines, and but guys, needless to say, I'm glad that we're all here. After last week, the bracket busters were in full effect. My bracket was busted pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And we, as this is our recap show to last week, in which we will discuss the surprises. We'll now also, as always, we will discuss the forthcoming week, the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8. And needless to say, there's some names in there that we were actually, I can't say we, but I know that I was extremely surprised to see are still alive and kicking.
Yep.
Honestly, it was what March Madness is all about. It was just a great weekend of basketball.
Oh, it was unbelievable. Just watching some of these games, and I caught the majority of the ends of the games for some reason. I just happened to be turning them on and catching the last couple minutes. So I'll go to my boys from Michigan.
Yeah.
Just basically, in my opinion, gifted a game. They missed a layup. The guy gets fouled, goes to the line, misses both free throws, and the guy, Jordan Poole, comes down and hits a three-pointer. The complete gift. The guy hits both free throws, the game's over. But, just from that to complete blowouts, Virginia getting blown out.
Arizona getting blown out.
Xavier losing a relatively close game.
North Carolina.
Getting blown out.
That wasn't a huge... North Carolina wasn't a huge... I had them actually losing in that second round, but to Providence, which Providence played a close game and, nothing to get upset about, playing A&M. But shout out to Chris Beard, coach for Texas Tech, taking his Red Raiders to the Sweet 16. That's the UNLV guy that signed the contract and then reneged on the job.
Yeah.
Shout out to him.
I think you get a shout out, all right.
Yeah. But hey, a lot of good basketball left. George, what was your biggest shocker in everything that you saw? With the exception of Cincinnati losing in Tennessee.
Actually, I thought about that today. How bad Auburn was against Clemson. I thought Auburn was a much better team, and but it was just a total rout. And most of the professionals had Clemson, but I had Auburn, obviously, but it confounded me. But that's the way it goes.
Yep.
Yeah, some of these upsets, they weren't, the three-pointer with 0 seconds left on the clock. These were convincing wins.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll go back to the other one. For Nevada to come back in 9 minutes left to do that against a super defensive team that's incomprehensible either. But it happened, so that's why you play the game.
That's right.
Yeah, well, I think the coach of Virginia really summed it up. When you step into that arena, something's going to happen, but that's what they live to play for. And he was very gracious in his loss. But he really summed it up that way. Two teams are going to go in there and they're going to battle, and it was a real, not just and again, a very convincing win.
Oh, blew up.
Yeah. And it was the same thing with the Arizona. The Arizona, I think, took everybody by surprise because they really were considered to be one of the favorites. That they kind of landed in a soft spot. And then, of course, by the next day, everybody had completely forgotten about Arizona.
Yeah. Well, I don't think Georgia was
comfortably still sitting in the seat with his little other problem that he has? Or is that now a hot seat?
No, he's got to be gone. I don't think George was that surprised because I listened back on the show, and George actually took Buffalo plus the points.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And I actually, I was talking about some of the teams that are having issues and those teams going down, and I did point out Arizona being one of those teams and Michigan State being one of those teams. But it's just kind of like when you're going through stuff as organizations, as schools, it's hard to win those games. Because there's so much stuff on the backside. It's almost like you're better off in a sense losing, because then it kind of kills out at least the media part of all that. But I digress.
No, very good. That's impressive. Yes. The funny thing with I told Billy, the only bucket that I like is when I tore up my sheet and threw it into the trash bag with nothing but bag.
Wait, did you hit it? Did you hit it though? Or?
Oh yeah, swish from 20 feet.
Oh, you got it from 20. Okay,
as
good.
He said, nothing but bag.
I was gonna say, I was gonna make sure you called glass or wall.
And yet, Jeffrey, and I can't prove it to you, but I don't lie. So, and yet I went 31-21 against the spread, which is really actually considered 59.6 or something. I can live with that all day. So, it was bittersweet, but I like the spot games better than just picking these games. But
yeah, well, Jeff, he did pretty well too.
I had a good day, and of course I picked mine the day after because that's how I do it. But
oh, come on! Don't.
So I did go 4-0 on my main bets, but I had a 5-team parlay. What I usually try to do is I'll bet the teams that I like, and then I'll just throw them on in a parlay just in case that it hits. But then for some reason I put Arizona money line on the 5-teamer.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking, oh, it's easy. They're going to win.
Yeah.
They're at least going to win, So that cost me a chunk. But still, overall, a good day. I'm doing pretty good in the tournament. I don't even actually know my exact stats just because, I look, unlike George. George is, a numbers guy. I'm like, how much is in my account, at the end of the day. So.
Well, it's also because I have the convenience of using Covers as even it's a free site, and I pick the games there, and it automatically shows me the record for the whole year. So it's a very, very nice thing.
You know what's really good about that is Covers actually denied me when I actually put my little, profile in. So it must be,
Why is that?
I have no idea. I actually, you know how you put your profile in, I typed in everything, and then it came back rejected. So, and Bill will tell you, we get a lot of rejection.
Yes.
In what we do.
You get used to hearing no.
But I will give it a shout out.
Never slowed us down, though.
We did get approval for game-to-game credentials for the lights.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So
hats off to the Vegas.
I got a guy
staff.
in my league in Covers that literally they don't except in like this NCAA tournament. they don't hide your picks. It's depending on the commissioner. And this guy just takes my pick. He'll go up a couple games because I take upsets, and he takes every favorite. And then for the rest of the year, for 142 days, he picks exactly what I have. And if that gets his boat flowing, then I guess it's all right. But it really, I see nothing worthy of that.
Well,
the man gets this is the type of guy, paraphrasing Ron White, that actually has an orgasm watching Roadhouse having the guys beat up the people. So I mean, I apologize, but that's about what it is. And you know who you are out there, Carapozano. Okay.
Call them out by name. Good job. Make sure we do a hashtag in there for that one. Okay, so this week we got. Do you want to just do this week, or we have to do 2 weeks because? You know, the next time we come on, it's going to be right before the championship game.
Yeah, and plus,
going to the weekend.
And that's yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, so I think that we should make our predictions count, and then of course review them.
All right.
Please do the Thursday and Fridays together, and then
let's
or whatever,
do
and then do the Saturday and Sundays separate. Okay, please.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. I agree. All right. Okay, who'd like to start us out?
Because we only have 1 hour, we got to kind of fly through these. But I'll go first if you don't mind. No, matter of fact, you went first last time, and because your friend, was giving your picks, I'm waiting to actually fill out my bracket until you're.
I wouldn't worry about it.
No, go ahead. I mean,
since you're rejected, he would be too lazy to listen to this. So I'll start right off the top with Loyola Chicago, and I'm going to keep the Magic going. They've won 10 in a row, or at least in their last 10, they're 10-0 compared to Nevada's 8-2, 16-4 against 15-6 in away or in neutral courts. So I'm taking Loyola by 3, and at the moment, at least this morning when I took it, Loyola plus 1.5 points.
That's what it is. Yeah.
All right.
Michigan, I'm going to go against. What do you want me to do? 4 or just the Thursday?
No, just do that whole side.
I'll do the 8. Okay, I'll do the 8. Michigan, tight game here, but Michigan's got something going. Charisma, card, whatever they call it, karma. I got Michigan by 8. They've won 10 in a row also, and they're very good on the away court, 15-6. Minus 2.5. I got Michigan to win by 8.
Ooh.
Kentucky. I got to keep them going. Kansas State got caught. I mean, they're a very nice team, but they caught a break with the UMBC, and God bless UMBC for finally doing a 16 seed. I commend you beyond belief. It was a fantastic basketball, and they covered the second game also. So give them some kudos. To whoever they are. What are they? Retrievers, you told me?
The Retrievers.
Yes, great.
Okay.
Love that name.
I got Kentucky to win that game by 10 at a minus 5.5 as of this morning.
Okay.
I kind of surprised myself with this, but Florida State played so good the other day, or so well, I should say, but they've only won 5 of the last 10. Gonzaga's 10-0. I'm going to go with Gonzaga by 10 at a minus 5.5.
Okay.
I'm not doing this again. I have Kansas to win over Clemson, but I have Clemson plus 4.5. I think Kansas is going to win by 4. Clemson's hot, and without their, I think his name is Grantham or Grantham, one of their top players hasn't played the last couple of months, but they've adapted to him very well and playing well. So I'm taking the 4.5. Villanova, 9 wins out of 10, 7 against 3 for WVU. I think Villanova wears them down by the end, and they go up by 12 with a 5.5 point favorite role. It's time for Syracuse to learn their lesson. I keep saying this, I shouldn't, but I got Duke to win this game by 18 points at a minus 11.5. And this is more sentiment. If I had to really, really put any of Jeff's money on this, because Haas is out, I take Texas Tech plus 1.5. But Purdue's got other players that can pick up, and the kid that had to take Haas's place, he only had 7 points, but he had some keyboards and stuff in their win over Butler. I'm taking Purdue minus 1.5. Purdue to win by 2. I wouldn't touch that with your billfold.
Okay. All right.
Is that concise?
Yep.
Yes, it is.
That's like butter right there.
Like butter, baby.
Butter. Okay, so you want to go?
Jeffrey. Yeah, I'll go.
Yeah, go.
Yeah, I'll be happy to go.
I'll see you, Bill.
Because mine's, I tend to move pretty quickly here. Okay. I'm going to also start in the South, and I'm going to start at the very top. I've got Kentucky. Kind of continuing, I think that with the quick departure of Virginia, as well as Tennessee, and it's this is and Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I think that they're going to keep that up over Kansas State. I'm going to go with the sister at Loyola, Illinois, who she basically, her bracket is that the fun ends, and that although the players are saying at this time they're going to bust her bracket, but I'm going with the sister on this, and I've got Nevada over Loyola.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I kind of see where you're going with that. Man, oh man. And the Florida State Gonzaga game, I'm going to also go with Gonzaga. I think they're just they're a much more mature team.
Yeah.
And they actually have been there before, and I think that.
How do you define mature?
They're old looking.
Okay.
Yeah, seasoned.
Okay.
Yeah, there's. You don't
thought maybe
have
they
any
were-
one and done that go to Gonzaga.
That's right.
It just doesn't work that way.
Since Kelly Olynyk.
Yeah, they're going to have their degrees, and they're going to walk out of their seasoned veterans.
Their only drawback, and I know this is just history, they're only 3-5 at this game at the Sweet 16, which kind of surprised me. But they haven't gone as far as lately. They've done better
Because they've been higher seeds the last few times.
Yes, I understand.
So they play a lesser team. Usually they come in as a 9-10 seed and actually have to play through some competition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and of course, thanks to another number one exiting, because I originally had them sort of lined up to go against Xavier, but again, that didn't pan out. So I think it's another opportunity for them to get to the Elite Eight.
Yep.
And then I have Michigan. I like the word karma.
Go blue,
and
baby.
I think that they've got that kind of vibe right now, and I see them over Texas A&M. And moving to the East and the Midwest, I'm going to ride Villanova at least one more time over West Virginia, and I really like Purdue. I think that they're playing very well, and I see them over Texas Tech, although I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a very close game. And I see Kansas, just meandering their way through this, and over Clemson. I, again, just saw Auburn beating Clemson for some reason. I really did.
Too.
And I see Duke, kind of manhandling Syracuse.
Relaxing is the word.
Yeah, and let me put it to you this way, because
Shellacking.
crazy things have happened in this tournament. Duke is either going to manhandle the crap out of Syracuse, or Syracuse is going to manhandle the crap out of Duke. And that's only because I just say that's because this tournament has gone that way.
Yeah.
That's not just to try and be cute, but I have Duke winning that game.
You sure you're not Jim Feist?
Nope.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
You might have listened to him today.
Well, probably.
Fan ball, baby. Fan ball.
Okay, so I'm going to give my takes, and then I'm going to give my spreads. As if you guys go back to last week, I talked about Kentucky. I still don't think Kentucky's that good of a team, myself personally. I think this game is going to be closer than the spread. So I'm going to take Kentucky to win the game. I'm going to take K-State to cover the spread, and possibly even K-State to jump out. They're a team that's known to kind of jump out in the first half. I'm not sold. I'm not sold on Kentucky. You have a quality coach. You have, some athletes that can ball. There's something missing to me. So I think one of the best things for that bracket, that side of the bracket, was Virginia losing, because, there's nobody would have been taking Kentucky this weekend if Virginia would be there.
Exactly.
So let's just look at it like that. So Nevada against Loyola. I love this Loyola team. We talked about it last week. I said kind of be careful. This team's going to win the first round. George and I both picked it. Little surprised that they beat Tennessee, but literally they were like inches away. I mean, the guy shot a clean shot, got a good shot off, missed the shot at the end of the game. That's the only reason Loyola's there. And like I said with Nevada, if Nevada gets good guard play, they're going to go deep into the tournament, which is what I said last week. I still believe that that's the case. I think that the big guys are a little bit better on Reno, so I'm going to take them, but I really think this is going to be a good game.
Oh, it's going to be a very good game.
I'm going to oddly take this because this is very strange. I'm going to take Nevada to win, but I'm going to actually considering betting the points plus 1.5. I guess that's to kind of hedge my bet a little bit. Gonzaga, I believe, blows away Florida State. When the spread came out, I actually made it about 8.5. So when I saw it at 5.5, I was like, is that like is it a trap game? That's always my first impulse, like when I see a game like that, because there's really no reason, in my opinion, that Florida State should be even, like really even a 10-point. Well, one, they shouldn't even be there, but even like a 10-point dog. I mean, I think that the game should be closer to 8.5. I love the 5.5. I'll take that in a second. And for those people that bet teasers, you can go ahead and tease Gonzaga down to 1.5 and just take that to the bank. Michigan, probably the best thing that happened on that side of the bracket was the 2 1 seeds going down. I mean, if you really look at what's happening now, they really, between them and Gonzaga, have the best chance to make the final game.
Right.
They both the 1 seeds are out. It's basically going to come down, in my opinion, from between Michigan and Gonzaga. But this A&M team is not going to go down easy. This is going to be a good game. And believe me, A&M watched the film of what happened in that Houston game. And if you watch the game, Houston was in control of that game much of the game, and Michigan just kind of made the shots when they needed to, but also missed a lot of shots when they should have made shots. So that game could have went either way. They really got lucky to win. Did you see the final shot?
No.
Okay. So they obviously the guy hit like a 29-footer to actually win the game. They actually showed a high school image of him making the exact same shot for the high school championship, which I thought was pretty crazy. But I'm still going to ride with Michigan.
I still have the last year from making the bucket into the garbage can last year, and it worked the same way. So what are you talking about?
You know what you should do is you should video that, and we'll start putting that on YouTube, because that's quality material right there. Okay, so on the East and Midwest, I'm gonna take Villanova, and I'm gonna keep riding them. I like West Virginia as a team. I took them a lot this year. I think Villanova is, obviously I took them last week to win it all. I'm going to continue to ride that out. I still think they're the best team, in the NCAA right now. I mean, it's going to take a team to really do something extraordinary to beat them. That's just how I feel. The Purdue and Texas Tech, I think Texas Tech days are over. They're going to run into a Purdue team that's like going to be a buzzsaw, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I think that Purdue is really kind of gelling as far as offensively. They played really well defensively in the last game against Butler. I'm gonna ride that out. I think they win that game by 10. I'm gonna have no trouble laying that 1.5 points. Next game, KU and Clemson. I said it last week. We had Clemson losing to New Mexico State. I still don't think they're that great. Totally shocked by Auburn the way that they played. Like literally shocked. The first time I saw the score, it popped up on my screen. I literally went onto a different website to like double check it because I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I was like, really? Are you kidding me? KU's a way better team. And when you're talking about it, you're just talking about coached talent, everything, just a way better team than Clemson. Again, I see that game as like a team that wins no problem. For the guys that take the teasers, go ahead and tease that one as well. That's going to be easy. And then Duke and Syracuse. Syracuse shouldn't even be here, in my opinion. They shouldn't even have been there last week, and they shouldn't even have won the first game or the second game or any of the games, or even got the play-in game for that matter. Duke is going to absolutely destroy them, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's the game that comes in like his little backdoor action. That's like the little backdoor. A guy hits a three-pointer, just to cover.
I'm telling you, there's going to be something spooky about that, Syracuse Duke game.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, it's going to be one way or the other.
Well,
I don't know what'll spark it. Now, that's my theory. You think that somebody will just hit a 3 at the...
Okay, well, if Duke loses that game next week, if Duke loses by 5 or more points, I'll paint my face in Ohio State paint, which is difficult. That's a very challenging thing for a Michigan fan. How about this? I'll wear a hoodie, Ohio State hoodie. I'll go buy an Ohio State hoodie and wear it on the show next week.
And then mail it to me.
I will mail it to you as long as you're wearing my same size. And you know what you should be mailing me is a Cleveland's Brown T-shirt because I'm going to sport that all year.
You're going to be their athletic supporter? Yes. Sorry. I like that.
Oh!
Yes.
Is this
Brownie,
thing on?
baby. Sam
Okay.
Darnold.
So we're in the Final Four. George, what do you think?
I am? Wait a minute. No, we're not. We're in the Final 8.
Oh, I thought we just went through the Final 8.
No, you went through the Final 16.
Okay.
Let's see. You got your boy coming on in about 10 minutes, so let's see. I got Kentucky to win by 4 over Loyola. I got Gonzaga beating your Michigan by 2.
Okay,
Villanova
hang on a
over
second,
Purdue by
George.
7. What?
Let's slow down a little bit here. We don't have to go completely whole hog here. You could still give a commentary on this, sir.
I'm not.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he's just running through.
All right.
Yeah. I don't have the statistics because this game needs to be added on to the other game.
All right.
By your bullshit.
Okay. So the you have Kentucky beating Loyola.
Loyola, yeah.
Okay.
And Gonzaga just being a little bit close game. 1-2 points. That's it. That's a rough game. Villanova should put the end.
But Gonzaga beating Michigan.
Yes, sir, by 2.
Okay.
Okay.
And Villanova and Duke Duke by maybe 1 point.
And Villanova.
Yes, sir.
So Duke wins by 1 point over KU,
Yes, sir.
and then you have Purdue, right? You have Villanova beating.
All right, Villanova by 7, Gonzaga by 2, Kentucky by 4.
I like it.
Okay. All right.
I can't even argue those spreads either. Those are going to be great spreads.
All right. I have Kentucky over Nevada. And let's see. I have Michigan actually over Gonzaga. See that rolling?
Yes.
Continue to roll. Okay. I have Purdue actually knocking off Villanova.
Thanks.
And I have Kentucky beating Duke.
Kansas.
I'm sorry, Kansas. And so that's what I have.
Wow, 3 out of 4 different. Go get 'em, Billy, baby.
I'm going to take the big upset. I'm gonna ride Nevada into the Final Four.
Uh-oh.
The Cinderella team. Michigan to beat Gonzaga. I think that's going to be arguably probably one of the best games that we're going to see. I mean, there's been some great games and games that really went down to the buzzer. And the ones that I circled last week, Michigan State and Duke, which didn't happen, and then Gonzaga against Xavier, which didn't happen. So, who knows. But I think that Duke, I'm going to, George gave that last week as his team to beat. I think they're better in KU. I still think that they're going to have a little bit of, back play on a lot of this, sponsorship and everything that's going on with everything. So we'll see what happens with that. And then I'm going to take Villanova to beat Purdue, and I think that they win that game pretty handily. I just think Villanova is the best team in college basketball right now.
Mm-hmm. And there we are.
Final Four and championship, or we?
No.
Okay.
You can do it. I'm picking Duke to beat Gonzaga in the final, so you know what that means. But that's
Okay.
subject to change in my world.
Well, I'm going to ride with my initial Final Four, which was Villanova and Duke. Those were actually 2 of my Final Four teams. I'm still going to call that as my final, which it was initially, and still Villanova to win it all.
George, so you have Duke beating Villanova, or the other way around?
Duke beating Villanova and Gonzaga beating Kentucky, and then Duke beating Gonzaga in the finale.
And do you have a score you'd like to share with us?
Duke by 3 over Gonzaga.
Okay.
I'm sticking with my score too, 73-68.
Okay. I've got Kansas beating Purdue. and Michigan beating Kentucky, and Kansas beating Michigan by 7.
Beautiful.
And there you have it. Our predictions. Dun, dun, dun.
Well, time for one more question.
Ab-
Do I?
Yes.
Is it a first down if you score a touchdown?
On paper or
And the stat sheet. We used to do stats. Me and Billy used to do them till 2 o'clock in the morning. Is
Oh, yeah.
a touchdown a first down?
I'm going to fall back on this and say yes. Because actually the scoreboard and clock, not the clock, but the scoreboard resets to first down.
Jeffrey?
I don't know the answer to that question. So
Well, it's an interesting one because you think, and I think you know, I think I know every rule in football, but I was sitting there and I won't tell you where I was sitting, but it kind of came up to me, and I actually had to look it up, and it is a first down.
well,
A defensive touchdown cannot be a first down, just an offensive.
well, this is the reason why I think that that's definitely true, because there is a way, if you score a touchdown, say there was a long pass and you caught the ball and got maybe marked down, but then they called it a touchdown initially,
Yeah.
and then you got a first down, but then they called the touchdown back and gave you the first down, then it would still be a first down, correct?
Right.
So so either way, it would be a first down.
Yeah. Again, I've always felt that since they actually reset the next down to be first down for the extra point or 2-point conversion, that it was considered a first down.
Nice.
And please, your partner over here, Jeffrey, do me a favor with Billy. Billy tells me, and I don't know if he was on something like root beer or something today. When I'm talking over the phone, he says Rosen for his UCLA team won't go till the second round. Slap him up, will you?
I think he goes. I don't think he goes to the second round of myself. I mean,
He should go. One of the New York teams is going to take him.
one of my teams. Well, who's that?
The New York team.
Oh, New York teams. Oh, no, there's no doubt about it. I mean, both New York teams need a quarterback. All of these quarterbacks are going to go in the first round. That's just my opinion.
Did you take Cleveland tonight?
I did not take. I'm not an NBA guy. I don't bet the
That's
NBA.
a good man, because they routed Toronto by 3. 132 to 129, over and under 224.5. Is that beautiful?
That's beautiful.
Go defense. Shut up.
Yeah, these are like. Hey, so real quick before we go, one play going into the Thursday Friday games. What's your favorite play of all of those?
Jesus, I just put them away. One play, just one. This is for. Wow. I'd have to say Michigan.
Wow. Okay.
-2.5 against Texas A&M.
I'm going to say Gonzaga is my one play.
Okay, well, you said they're going to bury him.
Yep.
And Bill's going to be both ways because Syracuse is either kicking the crap out of the other team or the other team's kicking the crap out of him. So he's going to try to middle it and just lose the vigorish.
Well,
How
lay
about
off the
that?
vig. And I just wanted to let you know, George, that I did complete my bracket. Just have Jeff here as a witness.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm not going to be sneaking one in there on late Friday night. And
It really doesn't matter.
yeah, well, it does. I think we all want to make sure that we're on the up and up here. I mean,
That's
We're on
very
the up and
important.
up here. There's a
We're
few
all
other
gentlemen.
people that aren't. So.
yeah,
They're true. There are some that are not.
indeed. Yeah.
All right, well.
All right, George.
Would
All
you-
right, maybe I'll see you next week if you don't have another guest for Major League Baseball preview. But because I'm done, I have everything going. It's all done.
Yeah,
Surprise!
I know you've got it, Dan.
L.A. Angels make the playoffs. That's all I'll tell you.
Wow.
Have a great
Wow.
night.
All right, Georgie. Thank you so
Take
much,
care.
man. Take
Bye-bye.
care.
Bye.
All right, our man in Cleveland, Jorge Misch. Thanks as always for joining us, and of course, our predictions after the last week. We all kind of took a beating, but we still had a few teams still in the hunt. And, of course, we'll review them next week to see how we did. We're going to take a quick break, and then hopefully we're going to be joined by our man, the NBA man himself in ATL, Torrance Hall. This is Southern Nevada Sports coming to you from, Southern Nevada Sports News coming to you from WWDBTV.com. We'll be right back.
The golf store you've been waiting for is now open. Bob Allen Golf is ready to help you take your game to the next level. Bob Allen Golf is located at 6415 South Fort Apache, Las Vegas 89148. Choose your favorite clubs from our selection of Bridgestone, Callaway, Cleveland, XXIO, Srixon, Ping, Wilson, and more. We'll custom fit them in our state-of-the-art full-swing golf simulator. Come hang out with us and practice on our putting green to find out which club is perfect for you. Have your clubs repaired, reshafted, and regripped in our on-site tour shop. And talk about accessories. Guys and gals will feel comfortable and look sharp in the many sizes, colors, and options of apparel from Greg Norman, Black Clover, Under Armour, and more. The team at Bob Allen Golf takes your game as seriously as you do. Join our online family at boballengolf.com and stop in the store to meet us. Remember, at Bob Allen Golf, your game is in the bag.
Need help with your taxes? Numbers not adding up? Wondering how recent tax changes might affect you? Don't pay more in taxes than you have to. Give us a call. No matter how complex your taxes may be, the best tax professionals are at your disposal. For fast refunds and professional service, give us a call today.
All right, we are back. Knockout Round, Southern Nevada Sports News coming to you from WWDBTV.com. My name is Bill Miller, co-host along with
Jeff Belknap.
And with us on the line, our friend from the ATL, the NBA man himself, and also dessert extraordinaire guy, Torrance Hall.
Yeah.
Torrance, how you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing good, Mr. B. I'm doing good, Mr. Jill. How y'all doing today?
Great,
Man,
fabulous.
fantastic, and good to have you on, that's for sure.
Like Eddie Murphy said, coming to America, I'm very happy to be here.
Great show.
Oh man! So, buddy, where would you want to start off? Because it's we're now getting down to the nitty gritty. I mean, we don't have much longer left in the season. About less than 2 weeks.
Right. As
Week
far
and
as
a half.
NBA, correct.
Yeah. And
NBA is getting down to like the final few games, like maybe 10, 11 games left for everybody.
And it's let's face it. Let's start with the surprise. They seem to be playing a bit better. Do you think that the Spurs are going to make the playoffs?
The Spurs will make the playoffs, but they will be probably the 7th seed, possibly. Honestly, they need to try to stay the 6th seed, though, because right now they'll be playing Portland, which they probably could have I don't know, because McCullough and Damian Lillard, that's a mean backcourt, man. So they might have the best chance against them, though, because I don't see them beating Golden State or Houston.
No,
or OKC or the Pelicans.
Yeah, I mean, they were fortunate the other night to catch a Golden State team that was down Kevin Durant, Steph Curry.
Right.
Yeah, and so but you're not going to get very many nights like that.
Yeah,
and
for especially a series.
Yeah, and of course there's still the question mark regarding Kawhi Leonard. I mean, it's now I guess down to his doctors and his entourage versus San Antonio's doctors and coaching staff, and any decision that's going to be made about him, because frankly they're not going to go very deep if they do make the playoffs and he's not playing.
Right.
Yeah, I honestly, if I was Kawhi agent or something, I think his uncle worked for him. Really, personally, if I was just a personal family member, I would tell him, not to play, because if you waited this long and you still really not 100%, and you're not over 85%, don't play, because the teams you're playing against kind of ready, man. They got chemistry. They've been running on their ankles and legs for a while. They ready.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I think after what happened with Isaiah Thomas, I think a lot of these players are having to take a second thought in terms of, is it worth it?
Right.
And he's still a young man. He's incredibly talented, and the last thing you need is to have something that's just going to be an ongoing nagging injury.
Yeah, that's something you don't want. That's what really ended Grant Hill's career and Anthony Hardaway.
Yeah. So in the West, you know, who do you see right now if the playoffs were to start tomorrow? We in fact have Houston as the #1 seed,
Right.
and which you know adds certainly a little drama to the West as opposed to it just being a foregone conclusion.
Right.
Yeah, and Utah would be the 8th seed.
You got to watch out for those Sharks, man.
Yeah, you know, and you know, they were kind of one of those teams that you don't necessarily want to draw.
Yeah.
You know, unless maybe you're a Golden State.
Right.
If you're a Houston, this is high drama at its best.
Exactly.
You know, you could actually see them, you know, literally just getting knocked off.
Well, if you look at the West as a whole, you have the 3 to the 8 team, 4 games apart. So, I mean, coming up to the end of this year, I mean, there could be a lot of volleying to see who's going to play who.
Yeah.
And then when you come down to the end of the game, can't you or the end of the season, can in a sense kind of pick who you want to play and kind of play according to that?
You know,
of course
they can, and I think they often do.
Yeah.
You know, unless you're just a front runner.
Right.
You know, you don't want to, you know, well, yeah, I think we'll, you know, go to second spot.
Well, I mean, obviously you want to lock in that home court advantage. So.
Yeah, you know, but as far as some of the other teams, you know, especially, and you're absolutely right. There's usually a few games that separate. Sometimes as many as 4 teams.
Right.
Well, you know, guys, right now, it's really 4 games separating 3 to 8.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, so that could kind of switch up all kind of ways by the end of the season. I'm kind of surprised in Minnesota, but I know Jimmy Butler was injured for a while. Very surprised to see Portland up there but they've been playing awesome ball over the last few weeks. Since All-Star break, as well as Utah. You got to look out for the Pelicans too, man.
The real surprise too, you know, and I think that those teams right there in that middle, that 3 through 6, you know, those are the ones that are, you know, I think it's anything goes, and
right.
Yeah, I think though for Minnesota, you know. What a great year and what a turnaround.
Yeah.
You know, they have really got to be very pleased about the future of that team. It's a young team. They play very well, and they have kept it up. I mean, I think everybody at the first half was really thinking that, well, you know, it's Timberwolves. Something's going to happen.
I think Minnesota has the best young talent out there right now. When they, you know, with Anthony Towns and Wiggins, those guys are pretty good. And you still have T. He's a little older now, though, but T can still do his thing. But I think Wiggins and I like Karl Anthony Towns a lot.
Well, I mean, one of the teams that was the biggest shock for me in the West was the Lakers winning 31 games. I think their over/under was 24 or something like that.
It was between 20 and 25.
Yeah,
I remember that. And you know, listen, I had no illusions. I didn't think I'm a Laker fan.
Yeah, I'm a Laker fan, so I like Lakers. They're my second team.
I mean, I'm an LA homeboy. I mean, I grew up watching them, and I had no illusions of them making the playoffs.
Yeah.
But I thought that they would, you know, do better than 25
they're
games.
technically not out of a sub-500 season. There's 12 games left. There are 8 games under 500.
Yeah.
They can literally go on a tear and actually finish over 500, which would be amazing.
It really would be. And, you know, I mean, and I think in terms of the attraction to free agents going into 2018, 2019, it would do well for the Laker franchise because I think that, you know, they're in a position where that they could sign, you know, I think that there have been these rumors about LeBron.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, yeah, he does live in L.A., but I just don't know if, you know, that's going to happen. I think it probably is going to end up going back to actually Miami.
Hopefully stays in Cleveland.
Yeah, but I would, for Cleveland's sake, honestly, I wish he would stay there. To be very honest with you. George our buddy is hell-bent. Get the hell out. Go. Beat it. You know, and he's pretty hardcore when it comes to things like that.
Yeah.
But the Lakers are going to be, I think, a landing point for some surprise free agents next year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they always are. I mean, they have that, that draw and desire because people want to live in LA. Me personally, I hope they lose the next 12 games and finish 20 games under, but
Tank for real.
I'm kidding, man. I'm kidding.
But to preface it, Jeff is a hater.
I am.
Yeah,
I am.
and admitted one. He's not a closet hater.
Hold on. I was more of a Kobe hater. Kobe's gone now, so I lightened up a lot.
Okay.
I mean, I only throw some shots every once in a while.
You never really prefaced it before. You just said, you just couldn't stand
No, I never could stand Kobe. I mean, Kobe was always, and you know what? Good player, great player.
Great player.
Great player.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
It's just a lot about the whole, to me, being an elite player, there's a lot more that comes with that. I mean, it's like your personality. It's like everything else that kind of goes along with that. I never really felt like Kobe was that guy. And you know what? He doesn't have to be that guy. He doesn't have to appease me. He doesn't have to appease anybody. I just have a preference. I didn't really like the guy, as a player. And he's not the only one. I can give you a list of players that I don't like in the NBA. But there was something about Kobe that always kind of rubbed me,
Yeah, I know it might be 5 of those things. Y'all did beat him in the championship, though. So
I love that. Watching Stephen A. Jackson eat his words after he said that the Lakers are going to sweep, and then the only game that they won in that series was Derek Fisher hitting a 3-pointer at the buzzer. Other than that, we went back to Detroit and did the reverse sweep on them, and see you later. Hey, speaking of that, they had a meme about that. It was when Kobe just recently won an Oscar, and I don't know what that means, but he won an Oscar.
Right.
Yeah.
And they put a meme up that said, "Here's your replacement for the trophy that you should have had," and then they had all the Pistons players in it. So I really enjoyed that one.
Was that in the Detroit Free Press?
Oh, of course.
Something?
I mean,
okay. I didn't think it was in the LA Times. Or
hey,
anything.
believe me, we throw mud when we can.
Yes. Okay.
I mean, obviously, our team's garbage. We trade for a player, and we're still garbage.
Well, all right. Well, let's go to the East. I think we've got about 5 minutes. About 5 minutes left. So, Torrance, you're in the East, and unfortunately, the ATL. I mean, you guys have struggled this year.
We had a great season, great non-winning season, one of the best non-winning seasons ever.
Okay.
Good lottery pick season, absolutely.
Yeah.
Good lottery pick season, yes.
Well, the good news is
rebuilding stage.
They were picked number 30 in the preseason, and it looks like that they might be able to get into maybe 28.
Right.
Yeah, I think Phoenix is going to claim that.
Phoenix and Memphis are tied right now at 19 wins.
They're gonna, they may duke you out for that last spot.
Right.
What are your take right now if the playoffs started? I mean, obviously there's some surprises.
I'm gonna tell you this, man. I think it was you or Jeff. One of y'all all year y'all kept talking about Toronto, and I must tip my hat to those guys. They're playing awesome. And like I think I said maybe probably a month and a half, this year is their year to win it, like at least to go. Because I think the window's closed, and every year they always close. They always get knocked out. But I think they could possibly beat LeBron and them if they had home court advantage.
I agree.
This year, I think they could beat a lot of teams. But I'll tell you the team I'm really looking out for out there, just to see a good series. I hope 3-6 stays the same, because right now it'll be Philly against the Cavaliers, and I just want to see LeBron go against Embiid and Simmons. It just seems like it's just somebody Embiid. He just got that edge on him.
Yeah, I think that would be a great series. And as a matter of fact, that's another team that they've been discussing as a landing point for LeBron is Philly. They got a lot of young talent on that team. We got about 3 minutes. Actually, that was me that picked Toronto, and it was mainly because of their home record. And I don't know if it's like those teams going to Canada or whatever it is, but they still have the most wins in the NBA.
Crossing that border.
Maybe going through customs or whatever they make them do.
Sweating that customs, sweating that crossing.
So, but the thing is, it's really important for them to keep that home court advantage because of how good that they are at home.
Yeah,
absolutely. And right now they're 4.5 ahead of Boston. I would like to see, Toronto. Again, I think you're right. I think this might be their year.
It looks like it.
And there would be no excuses. If you've got home court, you've managed to beat Boston and Cleveland, there's no excuses.
All right, so we only got a couple more minutes. So I want to throw something out first, and then we're going to get Torrance's take on something. So first of all, Reno Lights this weekend. Go Lights. Knock them off. Home opener. Let's get that second win. Torrance.
Let's get a second win.
Torrance, what do you think about the we can't go through the whole bracket or anything with you, but what do you got for the Final Four?
Who I have for the Final Four? My first team I'm going with is Kentucky.
Ooh.
And I'm going with them just because I liked them years ago. I'm just going to go for those guys. However, the team was my sleeper team. I'm going for Nevada because Nevada showing me love. I got to go with Nevada.
All right.
It's a must. It's a must. I want to see something new. I got to go with them. I'm going to ride with them till the wheels fall off.
All right.
All right, man. All right.
What about any of those other brackets? You like Villanova, Michigan, Duke?
Oh yeah, I like Villanova. I like Kansas. I like Purdue. I like Michigan, and I like FSU, Florida State. I think they'll beat Gonzaga.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Actually, I would like to see that because I think that would like pave the way for Michigan a little bit.
Right? Yeah.
Believe me,
Definitely.
I'd like to see them go down.
Well, Torrance, needless to say, man, we thank you so much for taking the time out of your evening because we know it's almost 10 o'clock there. And thank you for being patient. And as always, man, you're a friend of the show, and you're always welcome to be on.
Yes, sir. Well, I appreciate it all the time, and y'all enjoy yourselves.
All right, thanks, brother.
And Torrance, give us, how people can reach you, as far as the sports is concerned, but more importantly, the dessert end.
Well, on my dessert end, you can do Chef Hall _specialty 79, and then you can also do at Just One Taste.
All right. We appreciate it, brother. Take care of yourself, man.
All right, thank you. Take care.
All right.
All right, brother.
Folks, we have once again reached the end of a very quick hour here, and it was great. And we'd like to thank our buddy Jorge Misch in Cleveland, as well as Torrance Hall in the ATL. Join us next Wednesday, March 28th, 6 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. It'll be time for another installment of Southern Nevada Sports News coming to you from WWDBTV.com. God bless.
All right.